Hey fellow vault dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today I have for you the full guide for Don Pedro, for the Ghoul gun, with all the details. I don't want to miss any. This is very unique gun with very unique mechanics, do not exist on any other gun. So I apologize if I will be talking too much about some of that. I will try to make it to the point, but I don't want to miss anything that's important. First, how do you get the gun? You get it from the Season Pass. You climb your ranks, and you claim it from the Season Pass. Then on the pages after that, you claim all the modifications. After the Season Pass will be over, so in March, most likely you will buy it all from Mortimer with gold bullion. To be confirmed though, as it's not March yet. And now, when you get the gun, you will be able to craft it on any weapons workbench, and you will find it under machine guns. There it is, Don Pedro pistol. Up to you, it starts from level 20, max level is 50. If you are level 50 or above, of course you want max level, but after you claim it, because it's a season pass claim, if you create a new character, every new character you create will be able to craft Don Pedro pistol, so you can start a playthrough as level 20 with the Ghoul gun if you want to. Although you cannot be a Ghoul at level 20, you can only become a Ghoul at level 50, so if you want to play as a Ghoul with this gun, you need to be level 50. It's not expensive to craft, no rare resources, the hardest to get, probably adhesive, you need 8 of that. Then modifications, and that when stuff is tricky. You can make your Don Pedro legendary, fully customize your legendary effects through legendary crafting. So up to you what you want to use on it, but let's cover first the regular mods and then unique interactions, and after that showcase examples for 2 different combinations in combat. First, the receiver. The 308 Prime receiver offers the highest damage overall. Then we have some interesting options. There is 50 cal. 50 cal is just weaker, so if you want cheaper ammo and do a little bit less damage, you can go for 50 cal. I do not recommend it. Ammo is self-sustaining with this gun from my experience, if you loot enemies. So Central Receiver, this one gives you bonus damage to enemy's torso. Keep in mind, all that bonus damage to enemy torso or to the weak spot on High Velocity Receiver only applies to impact. Those type of bonuses do not apply to explosive damage, and this gun is really good with explosive damage. That's why for explosive configuration, Prime Receiver is the best, as that's the highest base damage that then transfer into explosions. I really like High Velocity one, as that gives one new option to play this gun with amazing combo with pinpointers. So for me, 2 best options for this gun is either High Velocity or Prime. The regular does nothing special. I would say just one of those 2 are your options, unless you really struggle with ammo, then reduce damage and go 50 cal. The barrel, there is stud barrel and short. This top barrel reduces AP cost a little bit, but reduces your range, so it depends. Do you really want the lowest possible AP cost or not? Short barrel for most will be best, but you can use stab. Like, there is an option when you could use that. After that, we do have grip, and not too many options that matter really, as all those grips are inferior to Align. Align is best, improves your hipfire accuracy, reduces the recoil. The other options, melee damage with bash, that's like not really important, so I would not see a point taking anything else for the grip. The magazine, that's kind of interesting, as we do have those Fortunate 4 and Fortunate 6 magazines which have this special effect, chance to add bullet to clip. And how does it work? I will show you on this example first, so you understand the idea of that. So I'm firing, I'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a reload. So that's normal. Let's see if we'll get lucky now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I managed to shoot 5 times and reload. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reload. So that's how it works. On average, the most common outcome is getting 5. I was testing that, shooting like that for a while. On average, you will get 5 shots. Sometimes 6. Even more rare that you will get 7. And sometimes, as you are able to see, just 4. On average, 5 shots out of Fortunate 4 magazine. Out of Fortunate 6, you will get on average 7 shots. And then there's Hardnet 6. This one just adds durability to the gun. I don't feel like it's necessary. I wouldn't use that. The standard magazine, of course, is standard. And there is Swift 6 magazine. Honestly, I need to tell you, I think Swift 6 is superior. You always get 6 shot, so consistency. You have the reload speed bonus, the same as on Fortunate 4. Fortunate 6 increases average shots to 7, but no reload speed. So your choices between Swift 6, I would say, and Fortunate 6. For me, for this one, is Swift 6 because I want reloads consistently, as I do have this shockwave installed on this particular one. So Swift 6 or Fortunate 6, best options. It's one more shot with this one versus slightly faster reload with this one. Other options are unfortunately inferior. They're inferior. The sight, only 2 options, reflex or standard. Not much of a difference between them. And on this one, to be absolutely honest, as I'm using only as hip fire, I prefer standard. The coolest part of the gun, the options for explosive penetrating bullets, explosive bullets, or penetrating bullets without explosion. What this does, it changes how the gun works. The first option, the bullet can go through enemies and is exploding. Second one will not go through enemies and only is exploding. And last one will go through enemies but is not exploding. So the only one option if you don't want explosion. Explosion with this gun is a really big factor, especially if you have second star projectiles explode for 20% weapon damage. Somehow, it's giving you like 2 explosions with majority of the damage in that setup is from explosions themselves. Very interesting that it does that. Other guns do not. So explosive is a very big factor if you spec for it. With all its benefits and downsides, yes, self-inflicted damage is the downside if you shoot up too close. Not too bad visuals, you will see in a moment. Either explosive penetrating, I would say, or just penetrating. I have a second gun that will be running with just penetrating. This one I have explosive penetrating. It's spec for explosions, so it's very powerful with this setup. Currently no appearances. I think they will add them. I don't know where, but appearances will definitely appear. Maybe they are even on the season pass. I will see later. Second option. So you can see on this one I have high velocity receiver. And I could use on that explosive, but then why I don't have explosive? The explosive option will take away from me ability to use reverse onslaught, and I want to use it with Furious. There are other options that you can customize it as you want, as you please, but I will show you 2 examples I have prepared. So this one, Furious, chance to hit in VATS as I'm speccing it for VATS, less AP cost, damage to weak point is double because that's from pinpointers, and on top of that, from high velocity receiver, additional 15%. So twice the weak point damage. And I'm not a human, so I don't have a Ghoul specific weak point damage perks, but I will get those perks on my Ghoul character later, and I will definitely play as a Ghoul with this gun too. Here I'm demonstrating on a human character. That's one of the examples because I do have here less AP cost on third star, so that's one of the scenario where you could consider stab barrel and get your AP cost from 18 to 15, but it will cut down your range from 111 to 88. which is already relatively low to begin with, I don't want to cut it short. I rather spend a little bit more AP, even playing VATS. So that's a downside of this gun. The range. It's relatively short. The range and damage drop-off do not affect explosions at all. That's why the explosive one is so good. Versus the non-explosive, which is good up close. Let's start with the explosive one. That's not really like the build I recommended. I even unequip one card as I have instantaneous reload normally here. But just to show you some mechanics. That's what I have, a test setup. So reload is important, so I did squeeze in a bunch of reload stuff. There is Demo Expert. I do have all the onslaught stuff. And I do have a little bit of limb damage here for this first setup and some VATs, like even Psychopath, so even on explosive one, when I normally play with hipfire and I'm not using VATs, then I can. What's very important with this gun, it's whatever you can do to improve accuracy for small guns. Hipfire accuracy, that's what we are looking for. We need to improve it, and that's another reason why Modern Renegade is here. Hipfire accuracy, incredibly important to put all those cards in, otherwise it's bad. But with those cards, it's really good, so it can be fixed. Now, combat. And as always, if anything I'm saying is not clear, feel free to ask in comments, and I will try to help out, or maybe someone else who knows will try to help you out. So that's okay, ask questions and look at the numbers. So you see, I have 3 numbers. That's how the explosive one works. It's hitting 3 times, and because of that, I'm getting onslaught stacks relatively fast. And for the super mutants, as you can see, the damage is there. The explosives are really good, and I do have this stun effect. So that's a perfect synergy. I would say this is great performance. I'm intentionally showing that on super mutants and not on the new enemies, because new enemies are tougher, and I usually showcase guns on super mutants, so it's good comparison with all my other videos. And on the inside we do have level 100 super mutants. As you can see, I can still no problem one-shot them for most part, even without full onslaught stacks. Not getting full as they are dying too quickly. With tougher enemies I will get full onslaught. So now, the second option, so the other one that is spec for VATs, but no explosions. So let's switch to this one, and we need to do a tiny tweak in here. We are switching to VATs, so we need to reverse the onslaught now, so we are adding the Masta Gunslinger. That what reverses the onslaught. And now we are basically almost spec for VATs. The Ned Rage helps, but Demolition Expert does nothing. There is no explosion no more. So that's the demonstration on the gun, that I removed the explosive factor, so there is no explosion, but I'm spec for a weak point damage instead. And you can see the damage number is much higher, but only one. Only one, so sometimes they will even survive until I get some kill streak going. So after I get kill streak going, I will get one-shot kills. The advantage of that setup, I can be up close and I will not hit myself. So that's easy way to use it. I can use it up close. I will not die from explosion. I can benefit from criticals, from the weak spot damage. When my explosive one, I'm not really using as much in VATs. I could, like you could use explosive in VATs. So let's switch one more time. And you will see now with each shot, if I try reverse onslaught, each shot consumes 2 stacks from the onslaught system. So that's not perfect if you want to run onslaught, especially when enemies are tanky and you need to shoot them more. When this one is perfect to run reverse onslaught, and with VATS hit chance, it's amazing hit chance for the head. And damage is really good. So those are 2 best setups. That's a critical. 2 best setups for this gun. With range, you can see that's already too far. That's already too far, and we are losing the damage. That's why range is a factor, and not such a big of a factor if you run explosive one. And if I shoot too close, like in here, see what happened? That's what I said. The explosive, better damage, but there is a downside. The downside can be compensated if you run assassin armor. If you run like power armor that's assassin, so that will greatly compensate. That's again how much damage it does. Oh, too early. I'm not taking damage here, I just respawned. Okay, I waited. And that's how much damage I take. You see all the health, one shot, popped. So it's absolutely not feasible to use up close if you are not tanky. And what you can do to compensate, in case you are new to that, you can run armor that's assassin, full set of assassin. If you are Ghoul, you can run full set of Ghoul Slayer armor. And then, look at the difference. Look at the difference here. You see? I'm taking damage, but I'm not dying. That's a little bit of damage. And this is everything about Don Pedro gun, presented to you as fast as I could. Let me know what you think. Thank you a lot for watching, and see you all in the next one.